All right. So I didn't really listen much to when people discussed the whole Bio-Leninism thing, but I was noticing the physiognomy check, and it's because I was around so many like hippies and punk rockers and stuff. So these people who occupy kind of the alternative part of the culture. Lots of people I know have tattoos all over them, and knuckle tattoos, face tattoos. I know tat faces. It's like shit. I was like down with the tat faces and stuff. Yeah, but so the physiognomy check is a real thing. This is something that actually even came up with a local who she had emigrated here from the Midwest as like a teenager, and she was like mutated fat. She was like mutant fat girl, like just beyond. You just couldn't understand how she made it into adulthood, and then for years in adulthood as at the size she is. You just can't even imagine what yeah. And so one of the things that she brought up was, oh yeah, the hippies, blah blah blah. Well, they accept everybody, and but what it was is that she wanted to be one of the pretty girls, to the point where it was obviously, it was a little psycho, because she was just so gigantic, and built in a really weird way, like that like it just built, not only built fucked up, but then fat as hell too. And so it was, and weird. Just like literally just weird. And what finally hit me is I was like, well, because I was like being real cool, but it finally hit me. I'm like, okay, not only are you fat, not only are you like really a weirdo, but you're also, you're a hideously ugly woman. You're below average. And it's like, why do you keep trying to attract attention to yourself in this way? And so at a certain point, it's like it was in the back of my mind, but I never really thought it, because I was still at that stage where I'm like, you come on, But now after the laughter, after all this, then I'm like, no, the Northwest has unbelievable physiognomy stuff going on. Really, just mutants. And the left up here, like hardcore mega mutated mutoids. Just, the full, they let out a scream, and the dead mutants get up and start fighting you again, really, it is almost like that. It's like the hippies are so mutated here. They let out the rebel yell, and then a bunch of vegans rise from their collapsed state of exhaustion and start hurling rocks at cops. There's no way around. Like, no. When you are among the left end of liberals, and you get to see their generations going from high school to then college, the physiognomy check is way too real. And the same for the addicts, and the big one up here with the addicts. Way physiognomy check. The part that I find kind of fascinating is then the physiognomy check, where you start to see sort of the odd exotic beauty, the girl who obviously was raised in a dysfunctional, drug-addicted household, like these women who they get put on by the punk rockers and the hippies because they're pretty, but really they're also bat shit bonko. And to see them go on for years trying to play off their bonko, and that eventually they can't disguise it. They can't disguise how bonked out on the bonko they are, to the point where, hoes won't have anything to do with them after a while. They see them burn their bridges. At some point, they try to have a recapitulation in life. Usually somebody's dumb enough to knock them up. That's typically how I've noticed it will go. But remember, being a mom is work, and a lot of mutants don't like that. But yeah, so just some thoughts I was having about that, because I started to realize how for real that concept was the Bio-Leninist idea. And so you see this a lot, especially in the Northwest, with especially like men that they're not fully grown. Like something is odd about them, and it's that their head's real large but their body's real small, stuff like that, where you're trying to figure it out, and after a while you're like, wait a second, I think this person's like growth got stunted or something. And that's a big part of what the results of the what I've noticed is people who totally fucked up as parents. You will see very often their sons are misshapen in a way like that they'll have humongous feet, but the rest of their body will be small. And that you're sitting there and you're like, and the big thing is that they're not as tall as their parents. They're a little taller than their mom. So I'm like, I'm betting either you had a real diminutive father, or you, and then, yeah, another thing with hippies. You'll see the ones who are the tall, like this guy used to bounce people out of the hippie shows if they made too much trouble or something, or he used to be the security at the commune or something. But I mean, then at some point you get to see it, that it's like, oh no, hippie guys are often small. They're often small. It's not even that they're scrawny, it's that they're small. They're not the size of what you expect of full-grown men. And they know it. So there's a lot of this kind of thing of like resenting the jocks and stuff. And this is like from 80s movies. People who want to think that they are like standing up against the oppression or something. And it's bullshit. They're not. It's not that the jocks were so cool and they would bully you and this and that. No, these people are making this. This is something they got out of an 80s movie from their parents. This is something they got from like some television show where all the cast members were like handicapped or mental or genital Americans or something like that. And genital Americans, they're broken. A lot of genital Americans are broken, and that's a part of what's going on with this, is this kind of desperate need for the genital Americans to think that somebody's like trying to keep them down, so then you get like, and that's why the feminists, they're so angry about, men lifting weights and eating meat. And it's because, because testosterone is a performance enhancing drug in every realm. It even makes you smarter. It makes your neurological system more efficient, so your brain works better. And because the way the muscles work, and but it doesn't matter that mutants don't understand this, or mutants don't like it. Mutants want to pump themselves full of drugs. That's what the genital Americans, one of the things, if you're around genital Americans, if you're born and raised around them, they take a lot of drugs. They drink a lot and they take a lot of drugs. There's a reason why Don Lemon got mad about the drink he was offered. It was a lemon drop. Okay, now, some of you might not know. This is a very, it's basically, hey, do you want a gay drink named after you, gay dude? Because super gay. This drink is for gay men. This is what gays drink, the gay club, genital Americans. Oh, yeah. And he knew this guy was trying to take the piss out of him. And then he flipped. He didn't have cool, because most genital American men can't handle their shit, because they were wussies. Most of their life they had to be wussies. They had to be sissies and wussies, and the girls had to defend them, and mom had to defend them, and the female teachers had to defend them. And they had to defend them from men being men, because men contest one another. That is what we do. It's the way it has to work. It has to work this way. Just like how women, the older women, come up with things like feminism to ruin the lives of younger women. So then those younger women will be in the workforce bailing out these old hoes. A lot of young women don't get that. What this is about is you were taught to worship old hoes, and now you're old, you have cats and dogs, and you're in the workforce because you're supposed to bail them out because they can't survive without Social Security. They can't survive without this supposed system that is to bail them out afterward, which you won't. Tonight is crangerine and touch the Red Bull coconut berry. Yes, see, at the end of the night, I'm like having myself a little drinky poo nowadays. Ooh, the job is doing great, Jim. You asked. Oh, and Good Mother was in a chat. We talked about you. You're good, talking about our Jim's good peoples. Jim's good peoples. Good folks there. Yeah. So, all right. So let's see what's going on. Scandal of the century. Clinton lackeys. There's a lot, boy. Things are not good for the Democrats right now. Things are not good. We keep up the pressure. But the physiognomy check is absolutely real. The Bio-Leninism thing, I do think that that's a real thing. Most of the people I found who liked Antifa, they're ugly. They're ugly and weird. And they know it. They know they're unattractive and they're weird. And that people naturally don't really kind of like them. And that they have to kind of do the hippy dippy thing, like, hey, it's cool, man. And then finally, they say something that you realize, like, oh, you're a piece of fucking shit, but you're a little diminutive wimp. So that's why you play it. Like, that's why you play this role like you do. Got it. So, yeah. But yeah. Peace.